Welcome to the Morning Sanity Check, where we talk about the different pillars of resilience: spiritual, physical, social, and mental. Join us so we can talk about it, then be about it. Let the show begin.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another Sanity Check. My name is Seth.
And I'm Camille.
Yes, and we are here to talk to you about all things resilience and making sure everything is sane with you. So if you're just joining us first time on Facebook, make sure you go to streamyard.com/Facebook so we can see your comments and just say hello, say hey, let us know where you're at. We will love to comment to you and with you. So how are you feeling, Camille?
I'm feeling good. It has been an extremely busy week, but a very productive week. And so for that, I cannot complain. It's also been kind of, everything going on and waiting on election results, has had people really glued to the TV and me in a way that I've never done before. I don't watch TV much at all, but, just kind of watching this unfold has been quite interesting. So, yeah.
I agree. It is so crazy because it's almost like, doggone it. You know what I mean? It's like I wake up and then saying, okay, well, I'm gonna wake up to a new president, right? And then all of a sudden it's like, psych, no, you're not. Same thing. And then the crazy part is there's actually no movement.
Right.
Like no movement. Like what's going on in the world? Like who's counting?
Yes.
So this morning they said that it's a way that they are counting, and it takes like 10 to 15 minutes to take a single vote in certain cases. So good morning. Yes. Hopefully you are too, ma'am, and congratulations on your announcement, Miss Slay Queen. I saw that she's getting ready to retire, so congratulations.
Congrats.
Next year, right? 2021 June. So congratulations to you. And want to say good morning to everyone out there. This is going to be a great show. So take this time right now in this beginning part to share. Okay, make sure you share this because we're going to be talking about the 5 apology languages, ladies and gentlemen. The 5 apology languages. Yes, it is a such thing. 5 apologies. So what do you think about these first? Camille, how important is it to you?
Very, very important in relationship, in work, in friendships. It's very, very important because if you don't apologize in a way that someone can receive it, it could damage a relationship that, otherwise would be okay. And so it's not like a one size fits all type of thing for apologies. I remember seeing this, it was a quote, meme quotes or something like that. And it says, a good apology has 3 elements. And it says, I'm sorry, it's my fault. What can I do to make it right? But really, when I was thinking about this and going through and everything, there's 5 things, and we'll hit on them, but 5 things that a good apology has. And that's, I'm sorry, it's my fault. How can I make it right? I want to change. And will you please forgive me? So there are more elements to that as well. And I think that in this, you'll find that, if you're not sure what the apology language is of whoever it is you're dealing with, if you hit all those 5 points, it's going to work.
That's the main thing, right? Because it's certain elements that we need as individuals. But ladies and gentlemen, before we go too deep into it, I want to let you know that we have a good big surprise for you at the end of the show. So make sure you stick around and say good morning, everyone. We love to see you here on the Sanity Check. We want to make sure that everything is going good with you and you ain't flew off the cuckoo's nest. Okay, so starting with the first one. You ready, Camille?
I am ready. So with this being said, I just told you, kind of a lot of us don't know what our, language of apology is. And before I begin, how many of you guys out there actually did the test? If you did, put hashtag and whatever your apology language is in the comments. I'd love to see them. And I just want to say hi to Angel and Talia and everyone else who has joined us this morning. But if you did, hashtag your apology language on there. All right. So the first one I'm going to talk about is expressing regret.
Mhm.
And I told you guys the last time that I took it years ago, expressing regret was mine. And lo and behold, it didn't change. Some things remain the same. So with this one, it really is an emotional language. Okay. So for some people, especially with expressing regret, the words I'm sorry mean so much. Okay. They go a long way. And some people have a really hard time saying I'm sorry, And so if somebody else is like, well, I didn't mean to do it. And then they're like, well, I apologize. Well, I didn't hear it as an apology, because the words I'm sorry are very, very important for me to say that, yes, I hurt you. My behavior was not in line with, what we're doing or where we're going, or even just that, I did something that I know was going to hurt you. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And so, it's expressing that guilt, and it's that the shame that they feel for hurting you, for causing you some pain. So expressing regret, and it's not just that, but it kind of bleeds into the next one, which we'll talk, or two more we'll talk about. But it's also not enough just to say, I'm sorry. I need you to know what you're sorry for. You know what I mean? So like, I'm sorry I raised my voice at you. I need you to acknowledge that you knew what it was that caused me that pain, so that we can talk about it and I can express that I don't want you to do that again. And so a lot of times I know, dealing with the kids and stuff, and they're like, well, I'm sorry. I'm like, sorry for what? And even at work, I'm like, sorry for what? What are you sorry for? And sometimes people don't even know. They just say, I'm sorry, because they think that's the thing that's going to, smooth it over or appease the person. But they genuinely don't know what they did wrong. And so then when they can't express that, the person whose language of apology is expressing regret feels like, you don't even care. You didn't even know what made me, hurt me or cause me pain. So how are you going to say sorry for something that you have no idea what you did? And so it's very, very important with those who have the language of expressing regret, that their partner or their coworkers or whatever understand that I'm sorry for X, Y, and Z goes a long way with us, because it's an emotional thing.
Yeah, and so you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, and I think that it depends. It depends on the situation, but it also depends too. And I know we talked about this before, on how we go into a relationship. I think it's important for us to be able to talk about the situations where we didn't get it quite right, if that makes sense. Meaning, hey, I was in a situation and I almost lost a friend because I did not take their apology as, heartfelt. You get what I mean? But I did not know how to express that, because it can come off as not necessarily holier than thou, but it can come off a certain way if a person isn't prepared for it. Like if I say, look, I'm sorry. And then if you say, well, sorry for what? Well, I'm sorry for what you think I'm sorry for. I'm sorry for the whole situation. So it can go both ways. So I believe that even throughout this, while we're talking about it, there is a conversation piece that needs to be had to let individuals know, hey, this is how I hear things, and this is how I don't hear things. So I need a little bit more depth in between just I'm sorry, because you have individuals that can say, well, I'm sorry for the way you took that.
And this is
That's
true.
the problem. So now they're flipping it, right? It's a judo mind trick.
Right. But that's why this is so important, is because when you're in relationship with people, and I'm not talking about intimate relationships, but any type of relationship where an apology is owed, it's important that you know that, and it's important that we express that ahead of time. Look, I don't need you to fix stuff for me. I don't need you to try to smooth it over. I need for you to tell me that you're sorry. I need you to know that you really, really feel a certain way about hurting me. And those people that say stuff like that, that's probably not their language of apology, you know? And so if somebody hurt you, how would you want them to apologize to you in a way? And that's the conversation that you can say, have.
Mhm.
It may be that thing, but that means you're not even truly apologizing. You're not even sorry. So why even say it? Why waste my time? And that causes another wedge between people when people say something like, I'm sorry for the way you took it.
Mhm.
And there's people that say sorry, not sorry. Sometimes it's appropriate because
Mhm.
you have to say what it is that you do. But when it's being right or the relationship, or when you're trying to mend it, you
Yes.
have to learn the
Mhm.
language of apology that other person is more apt to receive, or else
Absolutely.
you're just going to continue to drive wedges for what? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So it does have to have another conversation piece, but this is a learning lesson for all of us, that we can now understand what our language of apology is, and so we can better express that to people.
Absolutely.
If you want me to really think that you're sorry, this is what I need. And I need for you to say, I'm sorry. And you need to know why,
Mhm.
and my kids, when I used to discipline them too, I'm like, okay, don't forget that. You know what I mean? So I owe you one, and you need to tell me why. And so my oldest daughter used to be like, okay. And I'm like, all right, this is your punishment. Now you need to tell me everything that you did. And she's like, I did this, this, this. And I'm like, okay, there's 10 things. You only named 8. She's like, oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait.
Mhm.
Because there's a lesson to be learned in that.
Mhm.
For me, because my language is expressing regret.
Mhm.
So I need you to know what you did so that you don't repeat that again. And
Mhm.
we don't have to go through this again. So, for expressing regret, that's very, very important. I'm sorry, and this is why.
So before we go into the next one, I want to ask you this, Camille, and everyone else that's listening. Do you give the type of apologies that you want to receive? You get what I mean? Do you give that? So is it that, hey, do you find a way to understand how the person is? Or do you say, hey, this is how I apologize, so this is how I know that I'm sincere? Because to your point, if you say, hey, I'm expressing regret in what I did, so that's what I'm giving you, versus they may need some type of going into the next one, making restitution. You see what I'm saying? So how do you do that?
So for me, it's a learning process.
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to accept that, but then I have to, again, it's not, when you apologize to somebody, it's not about you. It's about making it right with them.
There you go.
So you have to do it in a way that they can receive that. And it's trial and error. And sometimes you don't get it right. That's why I said, if you hit all 5 of those things,
Mhm.
then you're probably going to get it right with that person. I'm sorry. It's my fault. What can I do to make it right? How can I change? And will you forgive me? You know what I mean? And so you have that all packed. So they're going to hear one of those elements.
Mhm.
And so for me, I do try to apologize in a way that the person can understand. And if they're like, that ain't an apology, and I'm like, okay, well, what can I do? How can I express to you
And
that I really am sorry for this thing?
right.
And I know what it is.
Mhm.
And I know that I hurt you, in this way. So what is it going to take for me to express that to you in a way that you can receive that?
Right.
So I do try.
Good point. So look, ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome y'all. Make sure that y'all share this, because like I said earlier, or if you're following the page, look, this year has been extremely crazy. Okay. And due to the amount of stress that we're dealing with, at the same time, you may express it differently. You understand? And so you may come off a certain way to people just because you're dealing with some stress, right? And so, yes, thank you, Miss Lily. She posted the quiz, and you guys can go and take the quiz to find out how you need to receive apologies. But what I'm saying is like, even think about the election. There's individuals that have, no kidding, unfriend people on Facebook just because somebody is not voting for the person that they want them to vote for. Are you really serious? Really serious? So check this out. You're really about to unfriend someone that you've been knowing half your life just because they don't think the way you do.
Right.
Do you want a friend, or do you want a mini you, ladies and gentlemen? So that's just something. Hey, how you doing? But I want to just let you guys know what this is about, because the world is going to get back to some piece of normality. And where are you going to be? Are you going to be holding on to mess? You get what I'm saying? Holding on to a grudge that really didn't, watch this, holding on to a grudge that didn't mean nothing in the first place.
Yeah.
Stop yourself, grow up, if you will. So look, we're about to go to this next one. Okay, this next one is making restitution. So let me give you a little bit about that. All right, so this is an apology language. It offers to make restitution, perhaps saying things like, how can I make this up to you?
Yes.
All right, like, I know I've hurt you deeply. I regret that, but let me make it up. All right. Or you can say, what can I do that can make this right between us? Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, this is on a higher level of maturity. You understand? Because if a person did something, follow me, if an individual did something, regardless if they meant to or not, they were there when it happened. You get what I'm saying? So you can't act like, oh, I just woke up and I just did that. No, and it just happened. No, you made the steps and then you stepped in something. Okay. So the question is, when do you, as the individual that was the habitual stepper, say something, say, hey, look, how do I make this up to you? My bad. You get what I'm saying? Like, that's my fault. How can I make this up? Because we talk about this before, right? What's most important, the situation or the relationship? And if you can't even open that up to say, how can I make it better? Then are you truly sorry? What you think about that, Camille?
When you were saying that, you remember the song Hot Stepper?
Yeah.
Hot Step. That's what went through my mind.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, it really is. Some people like, depending on your love language too. Yes, so depending on your love language as well, those things may look different. So if it was restitution for me, right, and my primary love language is physical touch, restitution for me may look like a hug.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I need for you to hug me because I need to feel. You can make it right by showing me the love and affection that I feel like I deserve. Mm-hmm. Or if you disrespected me in a way, you know, giving me that hug and saying, you know, I'm sorry, because again, my language of apology is expressing regret. Mm-hmm. So giving me that hug and saying, I'm sorry for what I did, you know, and hugging me, I can feel it and I can hear the language in a way that, you know, resonates with me. But yeah, so making it right, it's important too, especially if you're in intimate relationships, to understand the love language, so that you know how to make it right. Yes. Even though they might want to make it right, flowers ain't gonna do it.
No.
You know what I mean? How can I make this right? Flower. I want flower. I don't even like flowers. See? You know what I mean? So you can have a double whammy. Mm-hmm. As well. But yes, so you do have to, you know, it is really about making it right with that person, but making it right in the way that they can receive it.
Yes. And also check this out, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, really think about this. If a person tell you what it's going to take, for example, if you say, you know what, I really need a hug to make it right. And then you say, I don't like hugging. So you didn't want to apologize in the first place. So don't watch this. Don't offer that branch. What is it? The olive branch, right?
Yes.
That, but then you holding on to it real tight. Then you want to, now you Indian giving, you know, now you're starting to renege on it. No, if you truly want this is what I need from you. And then watch this too. And we're going to go into this a little deeper, but you know, keep that same energy when it's something that you want. Hey, come on now. When it's something that you really want, you know how to fix things. If you want to fix things. Huh?
Yes.
Say that.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, people know when they did something wrong and they know how to fix it if they want to. But it's something called ego, ladies and gentlemen. Ego. And I'm at the point right now in my life, I'm okay. Hey, listen, I don't have the energy. I was talking to Terry about this earlier. I don't have the energy anymore to give people the roadmap to me. What am I doing? I got to teach you how to treat me? No.
Yes, you do.
Who does that? Listen, out of all this stuff that's going on in the world, you think I got an iota of energy to teach you? Listen, the way I handle myself in a situation is going to teach you.
This is true too.
Hey,
what you accept and what you don't accept also teaches people how to treat you.
Hey,
Rosie. But
yes.
yes, so that is important. But I talking about going back to what you were saying, people know, and when you tell them, what it takes and they decide not to, it's like, okay, so you're telling me that I'm not important to you. Not important enough that all I asked for you was to say sorry and mean it. You know what I mean? And you choose not to. I ain't saying sorry. I ain't apologizing for nothing. Okay, well.
So it's like this. It's like this here, right? This is my brother. He says, if someone doesn't feel they did anything wrong, do we wait on them to realize that something indeed happened or bring it to their attention? My thought is, if you're dealing with an adult, they know. Come on now. Listen, seasons change all the time. You know what time it is. You dig? So right. You have to understand how much energy you're willing to divulge in bringing something to somebody's attention. When the energy ain't right. Okay.
You do.
Yes.
So I actually I did a little bit of research on this same thing. Is like, what do you do with the apology you never receive? Or, if a person genuinely doesn't believe that they did anything wrong. You can that apology that you never receive. I don't want to go into it too much because we're going to be talking about forgiveness. You know what I mean? But sometimes you just have to forgive them anyway. Because for you, at that point, you can hold on to that stuff. It's only making you sick. That person going about their business. You have to know who you're dealing with too. If they never understand, they're never wrong about nothing. They never want to apologize. Is this a person that you really want to be connected to? You know what I mean? That doesn't have any sympathy, empathy, can't see the other side or anything like that. Is this really going to work? Friendship or relationship or whatever, so sometimes you have to make a choice, and forgiveness is a choice, whether the other person gives you an apology or not.
And that's the deal.
Protect your peace. So you got to sometimes just say, you know what?
It's great. But see, the thing is, and this makes a great point. And ladies and gentlemen, I want to say good morning to everybody. What's going on? Jay says it takes a lot more energy to care than not to. You're absolutely right. So, but you got to ask yourself how much you want to give into the situation. Because look, you can still forgive a person and just leave it alone. Like, okay, I know how this individual is. When it comes to that, I'm straight. I'm gonna keep it pushing. Guess what? I loved you yesterday. I'm gonna love you tomorrow. Okay, no love lost. Right on. But watch this. It ain't gonna happen 2 times. You know what I'm saying?
We become guarded. We're like, okay, well, I know where to go with you and where not to. I can still love you. You know what I mean? And you can do what you do, but I ain't telling you my secrets. I'm not telling you I'm not inviting you to the barbecue, family barbecue. No. We're just gonna be homies. We're gonna be friends or whatever. It's a little different in relationships. We get it. But there comes everything is a choice. Life is a choice. Yes. And so you decide if you want to forgive, you decide if you want to still be in union, you decide, if you want to say, okay, but I think that you should always bring it up. Let me just say that. I think that if you feel wrong, because when we hold on to that, somebody has wronged us or we feel wronged, sometimes it's a miscommunication. And it's simply, I thought this happened or this is how I felt when you said something. People go, oh, I didn't even mean it like that. I wasn't even thinking, that way. And I'm sorry that I offended you or whatever. And it very quickly repairs the relationship. So I think that you should always bring it up, but you have to know those people who are just not going to apologize because of their ego or because of their hurt or whatever the case may be. And then you have to make the decision. Like he said, you're going to eat. It just ain't going to be at my table. Or I'm not coming.
That's the deal. And listen, it doesn't matter who the person is. You are ultimately responsible for your peace.
Absolutely.
You are responsible. Nobody else. So listen, I don't have to. You don't. And this, hopefully people can get what I'm trying to put down, but you don't. It's not your responsibility to release other people from their wrongdoing
Right.
on you. You get what I'm saying? But listen, hey, ladies and gentlemen, before we get too deep into it, because we're talking about the other apologies without giving it definition and substance. So first I want to say good morning to everyone. I know this is a great topic. Make sure that y'all sharing this, right? And make sure individuals are connecting, and then that you're learning, because ultimately this isn't about, oh, I remember this person did me wrong because I know my apology, language. Okay, but what do you do with this information that you have now?
Yes.
You understand? So, but going into the next one. All right, you ready, Camille?
I'm ready. So the next one that we have is accepting responsibility, right? And so this is a huge one for me too. I said that I thought that maybe, my love language had changed, but it actually did not. Didn't change much at all. But I think that if anything, my secondary would be accepting responsibility. Right? And so this one really is expressing why I did what I did, why I behaved badly. And then it's not like, well, she pushed me to do this. Nobody can push you to do anything that you don't want to do. You know what I mean? So again, life is a choice, but it's taking responsibility for your actions, the way that you responded in a situation or the things that you did, in that situation, and just saying, you know what, it was my fault. You know what I mean? It was my fault that I did this. I'm sorry that, I hurt you in the process, or I was inconsiderate of your feelings. I did not think about the other side of it. I just did what I thought was right at the time, but there are consequences, intended and unintended for every choice. And so I accept my responsibility in this situation for the way that you're feeling right now. Even though that person has to accept responsibility for the way that they feel, we all have emotions, and people's like, well, you don't have to get mad if you want to. Well, you usually make that decision kind of after you get mad, and you're like, you know what? It ain't even worth it. You know what I mean? But you feel that. But for somebody else, accepting responsibility is really for the other person to admit that they were wrong, accept responsibility for that wrongdoing. And then, whatever that other way to express that to that person, again, that love language or whatever, I accept responsibility. I hurt your feelings. Give me a hug. You know what I mean? I'm not going to do this again. And I thank you for bringing it to my attention, so that I can work on this. Or this is an area that I know I'm not good in, and I have to work on it because you're important to me. You know what I mean? So accepting responsibility really is, partially expressing regret for it, but also acknowledging your own wrongdoing. No matter what the other person is about me. I could blame it on the traffic. I could blame it on this person. I could blame it on my mama. I can blame it on the alcohol, whatever it is. But it's accepting responsibility for my part in the wrongdoing that caused you harm or hurt or pain. So no excuses. I was wrong. I shouldn't have done that. There's no excuse for that. I take full responsibility. What all of that is accepting responsibility for your part in the hurt that the other person is feeling, and letting them know that, look, no matter what it was, you're important to me. This is my part. I'm sorry. So, yeah. So have you ever, accepting responsibility, I'm going to say, is hard. Especially when it's something serious that you've like really, really done. And you're like, oh, geez, and people want to look for excuses to blame everything instead of just saying, it was my fault. Like, I'm wrong, and some people let the relationship go because it's so hard to accept responsibility because people are blamers. Nobody wants to be responsible for hurting someone else. But have you ever been in that situation where it's just been accepting responsibility has been so hard that you're like, this relationship ain't worth it?
No, you know what? I think it was. Well, here, I'm going to speak to that in a minute. But so sometimes I say sorry, even when I don't do something wrong, as a peacemaker to those I really care about, and they care about me. So what I will do in the past was I would express regret for who I was, who I was in the situation, the cause, the infraction, if that makes sense. But what I've grown to be more in tune with is understanding who I am, but understanding the other individual and being able to say, you know what, based off of who I am, that was not right for me to do to you.
Right.
So I'm not apologizing. I don't have regrets as far as who I am. I regret what I did, genuinely what I did and how we caused the rift.
Yes.
You understand? So it took a while and it's still work in progress. But yeah, I mean, the ego is all in, it's in our veins. You understand? It is a part of us. You cannot kill the ego. You have to use it to when you need it. You understand? You can't kill something that's a part of you. That is who you are. But when you use that ego in a negative way, because it's preventing you from holding yourself accountable, for goodness sakes, that's all it is. Like, yo, man, okay, I acted this way and it hurt, you know, my daughter, my sister, brother, my mother, or whatever the case it is. Let me chill out and really express that, my bad. You know what I mean?
Ego is expression, good or bad, and it's the way that you use it. But can I want to go to Rochelle's point, you know, about the apologizing even when you didn't do anything wrong. That can be harmful in a way, harmful to you, and it sometimes absolves the other person of taking responsibility.
That's what I mean.
For what they've done. So you shouldn't just apologize to be apologizing, especially if you don't know why you're apologizing, just to keep the peace. No, some people have to deal with whatever it is that's going on, and it's not about necessarily keeping peace, because ultimately, and this is a people pleaser personality, right? And so, but you get used and stomped on, and people, you know, you just be like, I'm just apologizing for what I even do. And it leaves you at a deficit. And you don't want to do that. You want to know why you're apologizing to someone so that you can appropriately apologize, and you know that you won't be misstepping again, which takes that conversation. And then you just don't want to be giving out apologies just to, like, because then if you keep doing that, then they mean nothing.
Right.
And eventually people see that, but it takes a toll on you. Let people take responsibility for what they've done. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times people are blamers.
Yeah, and there you get it.
Accepting responsibility for what they've done. They will blame another person and make them feel so bad about that thing that they're like, dang, well, what did I do? And now you carrying all this load, when no, you need to say, okay, I apologize for the way that I made you feel if you felt that way, but you know what I mean? You also have a responsibility in this. You know, if you didn't do what you were supposed to do, why am I apologizing for it?
And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. The thing is look, I don't need you to, listen, I don't, me personally.
Right.
It comes a point in time, especially if you're dealing with adults. We're grown. You understand? We're grown. Let's look at the whole totality of the situation.
Yes.
Did someone wrong you, or did you play a part in that?
Yes.
And who's the bearer of the situation? If you're waiting for somebody to someone else point to wave that white flag and you was wrong, you're gonna be waiting till the cows come home.
Hello.
You feel me? Because other than that, what am I apologizing for? What did I do? Now watch this. Don't get mad. Now, here's another piece. Here's the switcheroo, ladies and gentlemen. Don't get mad at something that you did, but now you're expecting someone to apologize or to give you the grace to remove that apology that you owe. So don't get mad when the person ain't giving you that. Like, no, keep it pushing. Hey, because look, watch this. Hey, you did it. You know what I'm saying? And listen, I got 4 or 5 white flags in my back pocket. Not one for you.
Not one for you.
You know what I'm saying? Because the situation, you perpetuated it, if that makes sense, right?
Yes. And let me say this too. You cannot apologize for someone else's bad behavior, especially not an adult. A child, you can, yes, and then you teach them. That's why we say, no, you need to apologize to this person for doing X, Y, Z. I don't care if you have a tantrum or not, you're going to do it. I had an incident where I was parking cars at the fair really quickly. Parking cars at the fair. So, you know, we have instructions how we have to park people where they can keep them from getting tickets.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to direct this guy to the thing. He starts yelling at me. I don't want to park there. And I'm like, look, I'm just doing my job, go into this parking lot or not. I really don't care, So I'm directing traffic. I don't want to. And I was like, look, I'm not arguing with you. Park wherever you want to. You know what I mean? I have a responsibility. If you get a ticket, then that's on you. Whatever. He gets out of his car. He starts calling me every name in the book. I'm here in Georgia, middle Georgia. So y'all can imagine what those names are.
Mm-hmm.
Telling me that's why I need to go get a job. That's why I'm working doing this piddly stuff. Sir, I'm volunteering. I have a job. I have a whole career. Thank you. But I didn't go there. Well, he got out of his car, starts yelling at me, starts calling me all kinds of stuff. Another gentleman, African-American gentleman, came over and was like, you're not about to call her that. I'm not going to sit here. And his wife is like, stop. And I'm like, y'all, I'm good. Like, park wherever you want to. So his wife jumps out of the truck and says, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry for the way that he's behaving. I said, ma'am, I don't accept your apology because it's not yours to give.
Mm-hmm.
He's not sorry. So it means nothing to me. You can't apologize for his bad behavior, especially when he's still exhibiting the bad behavior. Mm-hmm. Like, stop apologizing for people who owe their own apology. If they don't mean it, there's nothing you can do about that thing.
Hey,
it's not gonna make me feel any better coming from you because
what?
It's me an apology.
Yes, you know what? And I would say this too, because we got to get ready to take a break. But ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to think about that. Hear this with your third ear, if you don't mind. Try doing this. Don't expect apologies from individuals that was not the corporate, if that makes sense. There's a lot of things that we have experienced and individuals want to apologize for those things. No, you can't apologize. You know what? I'm sorry that my sister did that. I'm sorry that. No. Okay. Me too. I'm sorry too. But is she sorry for what she did? No.
Right.
No, she ain't. You know why? Because she wanted to do that. Because therefore, somehow, some way, she was benefiting. Yeah. From what she did, or she got something out of it, if you will, from what she did. So you can't apologize for what that person did, and this be real quick too. There's individuals and there's certain situations where individuals will apologize on behalf of other grown individuals. No, don't do that. Because look, they was there, and look, you was there too, and it's cool. You understand? But no, don't do that. But anyway, we're getting ready to go ahead and take a break. But before we do, I want to let everybody know that this is the Sanity Check-in. Good morning. Right on. And we have a big surprise for you at the end of this show. So stick around. If you're just tuning in and you're on Facebook, make sure you go to StreamYard.com/Facebook, just so that your comments can pop up just like this. Negative. Absolutely right. But we will be right back. Stay tuned. And while we're going through this, please make sure you share, because this is some great information. Okay? Later.
If you're looking to buy or sell anywhere across the 50 states, contact Jamilaseals. Jamila is a realtor with Keller Williams Marquis who exudes credibility, commitment, and determination while serving the Metro East and Scott Air Force Base, Illinois areas. Her warm and friendly approach, combined with unparalleled communication skills and enthusiasm for helping others, allows her to connect and provide clients with the best possible service and experience. There are 3 things she does with and for her clients. First, negotiate deals for you. This means she'll treat your money like it's her money. Second, guide you through a simplified process, which means she'll provide sound advice to ensure you make an informed decision in identifying or choosing the right house for you. And last but not least, creative marketing. She'll provide a cutting-edge marketing plan that's tailor-made for you. Bottom line, she's going to get the job done properly and not let you down. So if you're searching for your new dream home, give Jamila a call today at area code 618-202-8751. Again, that's 618-202-8751.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Welcome back to the Sanity Check. And we're talking about the 5 apology languages by Gary Chapman. So make sure you go and check out that book. It's great. And you can also go to the website and just take the quiz. Right? Take the quiz to see how you receive apologies. Just some real good information because this can help individuals learn how to apologize to you. But you have to be willing to tell them. So if you're just tuning in, we talked about the expressing regret, and then we talked about making restitution. All right. Then we also talked about accepting responsibility. You understand? And all of these coexist, if you will. It could in one simple statement that Camille had said earlier. What was that statement, Camille?
So to cover all of your bases is I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
It's my fault. How can I make it right?
Mm-hmm.
What can I change? And then please forgive me.
That's right.
And that talks to all 5 of the languages of apology. So if you're not sure which one it is, just hit them all. Hit them all.
That's right. So we want to say good morning to everyone. Give us a hashtag. Let us know where you're at. Right. This is real good information. And again, I'm going to keep repeating this until the end. We have some great information for you at the end of the show. We're very excited about this. Very excited. So the next one, this is mine. This is my favorite. Well, maybe because it's mine, but I wouldn't say that this is my favorite, but it really speaks to me. And for those of you that falls in line with the genuinely repenting, okay, to genuinely do that. So let me talk to you a little bit about that, what that looks like. So this is being able to express the desire of change, okay, like desire of change, like, yo, hey, what can I do to do something better? That's how I am personally, you know. So when I hear someone that is equal to that, or they're willing to change, that lets me know that they're really about their apology and that they want to move forward in a relationship. So for example, the statement can sound like, I don't like what I did. First of all, because now you're putting your feelings in it. Okay. So you're saying, I don't like what I did and I don't want to do it again. Can we talk? You see what I'm saying? Something that's small. Look, it's only like 8 words. Hey, I don't like what I did. Look, let's talk. Okay. Because there's a sense of a shift. Right? There's an emotional shift or there's a rift in a relationship. And sometimes people need that just to even start the conversation. You just can't act like something didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? Like something didn't happen. And all of a sudden you're like, yo, what's up? You still there? Was here the last time. You know what I'm saying? Listen, hey, ain't left. Still here. You dig? So you can talk, you can do it that way, or you can say, hey, can we put together a plan that will help me to stop doing this? So there's still some responsibility in there. Can we come up with a plan? Okay, you see what I'm saying? Can we come up with a plan to stop, for me to stop doing this? Because apparently I'm struggling, and I understand this. You brought it to my attention, or even if you didn't bring it to my attention, I feel it. I feel this energy, but I know it hurts you. You see? I know it hurts you. So that's the key. That's the key. You said that will work on me. Yes. Think about it, because a person is saying, yo, hold on. I'm sorry, but I need your thought process so I can learn how not to do this anymore. That is some real stuff. Can you dig it? What you think, Camille?
I can dig it. You know, I've heard my whole life, the best apology is change behavior. Hey. You know, and so that falls in line with this one right here. You know, is how can I change? And it's that person is taking responsibility for their part, so much so they care so much about you that they're willing to change something about them to make the situation right. You know, and it's that change behavior. Like when people, and I'm just going to bring it up, you know, we don't talk about it too much, but you know, when people are in a relationship and there's infidelity or there's somebody spend up all the money, you be like, dang, you know, I'm sorry is not good enough. You know, and they be like, well, I said I'm sorry, but then you did it again. Like nothing about your behavior changed. So why should I continue to forgive you when you haven't even really apologized because your behavior is still the same. Or
Right.
you're spending up all the money out of the account. You know we have bills, and I've told you, you don't need 500 pair of shoes. You got 500. You only wear 10. You know what I mean? Pick another one. But you continue to do that, continue to exhibit that behavior that's causing the rift. And so when I see that other Amazon, I'm talking to myself, the Amazon box come up on the porch, you're like, really? Like, I just told you, we don't have the money. You said that you would stop buying because you haven't worn what you already have. Yet here's another box on the porch. I feel like you didn't apologize, or it wasn't sincere. Maybe you just said that to shut me up in the moment, but the behavior hasn't changed.
Yes.
So, you know, that's...
No, I can dig that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, when we're talking about the genuine repentance, it is a change. It's a mental shift, and it's also a willingness.
Yes.
You understand? But that means that you have to be willing to listen to the person, because they are giving you a blueprint to what that apology really should be or sound like, or some change. So, for example, I can't read your mind. All right. If I ask you, hey, what can I do to put a smile on your face? Think about that. Listen, now look, I came up with it. Sound good. You see, what do I need to do to change that frown, right, upside down?
Yeah.
So, but when I say that, I need to really listen and then work in that way. Now, keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, you may not be perfect, but that first step is showing me, okay, you're serious. And then when it comes down to relationships and being in a relationship and being married and everything, you're not going to be perfect every day. But when a person brings something to your attention and you consciously hear them, so you're like, okay, this is new for me. All right, this is new for me. Give me baby steps. Let me crawl to it, but don't expect me to run. Let me crawl to it. Give me a way that I can crawl and then to change, but give me grace too. So it goes back and forth. After expressing what you need, what type of genuine repentance that you need. And if this person say, hey, what do I need to change? And you give that person that, you also have to give them room to follow suit. You know what I'm saying? Well, you've been in a situation like that when you told somebody something one time and then it happened again. And you're like, yo, I just told you this. And they said, no, I know, but I still, you know.
And I might be guilty of that. And here's the thing too about that, right? So I've been on both sides of the coin.
Yes.
Because when you say that, and if that person's apology, what you have to really take into account is it something I can really sustain?
Yes.
You know, is it something that I can do for the long haul? Or is this something I want to do for the long haul? Because there's some things about me that I absolutely love. And without them, they wouldn't be me. Now, it may irritate the life out of someone else, you know, and I don't want to lose that part of me. So I say, is it something I can really do? Or we need to have a conversation. I can do this much because I really enjoy this. You know, is that going to be enough? You know, and even like, you know, in past relationships or whatever, when it comes to infidelity and things like that, that person apologizes. And I'm like, okay, can you not do it again? And at some point, I have to go, okay, I know that this person can't do this. I'm asking something that they're unable or unwilling to do. So I have a choice. Do I put up with it or do I walk away?
Yes.
And so sometimes you have to walk away. It doesn't mean you hate a person. Doesn't mean you don't love them. It means that there's some things that are damaging to you that really, and then those things that can really suck the life out of you and put you in a deep, dark place. And you know, by staying there, they continue to do what they're going to do. You're going to continue to be dying, like literally dying.
Yes.
So I have to choose life.
You have to.
So, you know, and how many times is really, it depends on, I think, the severity of the thing. I think that it depends on your threshold. I think that it depends on what you are willing to accept or, you know, not really. So it's a personal, there is no blanket statement on that. it is a personal thing. How
Yes.
many times do I want to go through this?
It
How
is.
many times do I,
Yes, it is a personal thing, and also it's a situational thing too. Because if you're dealing with someone off the street, it's like, okay, fool me once, my bad.
Right.
Now, next time, I'm straight. It won't be a next time. Can you dig it? It
Right.
won't be a next time because I ain't gonna let that happen. But ladies and gentlemen, if you want to call in and give your feedback, here's the question though. How about you? How many times do it take you to accept an apology without change? Because that's the key. That's the key. You have to set yourself up for these type of things, right? And especially when you love a person. When you love a person, you are really being vulnerable to being let down. You understand? You're opening up yourself to that. When you truly love a person, you're saying, okay, cool. I love this person so much that I know they go jack up tomorrow. It's something. I know that. But think about this. There was a time when someone gave you grace.
Absolutely.
Right on, because listen, you did not come out fully who you are today. And it was by the grace of other individuals that you are able to learn about yourself, because life is a lesson. You see what I'm saying? And either you learn from someone else's experiences or you learn from yours, one of the two, but hopefully you learn.
Yes. And then there's another part to it that I want to say. Sometimes those things, especially in relationships, they challenge you. Is what I'm asking unreasonable? Is it an ism? Is it something that I could really live with? I just, choose not to, or I've always had these habits and, I don't want to break, or I've expected this from somebody, but it doesn't work in this relationship, and so sometimes you have to take stock too. Is it really damaging, or is it really that bad? Or am I just like super picky over nothing? Like, is it going to change, our finances, the way that we live or whatever? Or is it something that maybe I need to work on? That I have some stuff from the past that, like, I don't want to do this. I'm, some fears, some insecurities, some isms because I picked them up from my parents or whatever the case may be. Is that really important? You know what I mean? And so sometimes we have to take a step back, because there's some things that I've had to let go in relationships too that weren't serving either one of us, and it wasn't damaging to the relationship. It just irritated me. You know what I mean? And then I'm like, why does it irritate me?
Right.
Well, why does it really even matter? It's not even that big a deal. Let it go. And so I had to relinquish some of that control because we want to control everything around us. But I had to relinquish some of that and say, is it really that bad? And even in parenting, I had to do it differently with my youngest daughter. And there's some things that I absolutely let go that I would not, my oldest daughter's on here now, that I would not allow my oldest daughter to do, but they're two different people. And then when I think back, I'm like, that was stuff I picked up from, my parents or somebody else. And does it really matter?
Do it matter? Does it even apply to the situation?
Exactly. Why am I overreacting?
Right, because sometimes we will put so much on the situation that really wasn't that serious, and we want a person to get on their hands and knees and kiss your tail.
Yes.
Really wait, hold on, wait. Now we have to take responsibility for us. Is it really that serious? Is it really that serious? Because listen, if it was that now this is and when it comes down to the genuine regret, ladies and gentlemen, think about what you want to receive from that. Now, do you want this individual to change that action, or do you want them to change who they are? Because you said something earlier that was like, okay, this is really a part of me. I don't want to hurt you, so give me the tools that I can prevent myself from hurting you. You get what I'm saying? Not necessarily help you build walls up so I can't touch you anymore, if that makes sense. However, how do I do what I need to do, but to still be me in the process? Because you love me for who I am. You're right. You see, watch it. Look, ladies and gentlemen, you love whoever for who they are. So love them enough to give them the tools to show that regret, but to also build a better relationship, instead of saying, you know what, I don't like this about you, and that hurts my feelings. Everything that you do in this lane is out of line.
And when we're asking that too, again, our choices and that those demands that we have intended and unintended consequences.
See?
You asking a person to change that one thing about them may change everything.
Right. And is that what you truly
is it worth it? because people will say, okay, well, you don't, they hear you don't like who I am, and they stop doing everything. And you're like, dang, in your mind, you're like, well, I just asked this one thing. Now it's a whole different person I'm dealing with. You have to, again, know the person. You have to know what you're asking for. And you have to think about those other things that may change along with that. And then, again, that's where you have to make a choice. Is it something I can deal with, or is it not? Do I stay here? Do I walk away? Do I have another conversation to say, okay, now you went too far. I was only asking for this one thing, but you just went way too far. Now you ain't talking. You walking around with an attitude. Yada, yada, yada. Like, I didn't want it to be like that. I just wanted to tell you that this one thing.
There you go. Right.
I love who you are. I just don't love this one thing because it irritates me. You know what I mean?
Because look, ladies and gentlemen, you can be involved with a people pleaser and they can be a driver. What I mean by a driver is an individual that has the energy to, you know what? I heard what they said. I love this person, so I'm gonna go 100% at it. See, now watch this. Now that 100%, now you're like, wait, whoa, wait, no, shut up. Shut your mouth. Because see, you made it a point to stop me in my tracks. And now I appreciate it. But now that you gave me what I need to make it to not do that again, so basically what I'm gonna do is I'm going to mentally attach everything that may be associated.
That's that passive aggressive.
But no, wait, no, but hold on. Now, see, you can be passive aggressive, but you can also be assertive in it to the point where, you know what? I know what was right and wrong, but I'm a driver. So I'm not doing it. A person may not be doing it to be condescending, right?
True.
Because if they were, then that would be passive aggressive, but I'm a people pleaser. So I want to please you to the point where anything that I think is remotely close to what I did before, I don't want to do it. So to your point, it's very important to make sure you have that conversation. Hey, this time, in this situation, in this instance, that's what I can dig that.
Right.
Everything else is cool. Like you got this, you need to make sure you give individuals their left and their rights.
Yes.
You see, because some folks can go hog wild and just, erase the whole relationship just based off of that.
They can, but don't lose yourself, even the people pleasers. And that's what happens. Don't lose yourself in that, because then I'm going to tell you what happens, because I've been there. And I say it happened for me and for a lot of people that I know. When you do that and you're going 100 and you're driving and you're worried about the other person, there becomes a void in you. And then there's this internal conflict. And then you start resenting the other person and you start blaming them for your unhappiness, because I'm doing all of this to please you and all of this to make you happy, and I changed and I apologize, and you ain't done nothing. You're reaping the benefits of me giving everything that I have, and now I'm empty. I'm left empty and I'm hurting, and you're not pouring back into me the way that I need to, because I've spent so much time. I have created this, expectation of me that I'm always doing. And so you're just on the receiving end. You fat and happy while I'm over here starving, bones sticking out. And I'm like, and so we have to be careful when we do that, because some people will go over and above and try to do all of those things. You completely lose who you are. You're so on edge trying to make sure you're doing everything because you don't want to offend that person. So you feel like you're walking on eggshells all the time. So you still have to be true to who you are. And you still have to require people to do right by you as well, even if you are a people pleaser. Don't lose yourself. You were created this way for a reason. You have a very special place on this earth, and it's not to, yes, we serve, but it's not to be somebody's maid and to be walked all over and to empty yourself without them having, requiring them to do those things for you either. So please just keep that in mind too, as a person who's been there and knowing several people who are the same way. Even if you do that and you go hard, make sure you still filling yourself up, or make sure you're requiring something.
And that's it. So yeah, absolutely right. It's so important. It's so important. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're just tuning in, and I'm sure you've probably been on for a while, we've been at this for a good hour or so. But so we're talking about the 5 apology languages by Gary Chapman, and we went over the expressing regret, making restitution, accepting responsibilities, and genuinely repenting. So this next one that we're going to talk about, in my opinion, is the easiest one. It's the easiest one. This next one is requesting forgiveness. So just lay it out real quick. So what this is so simple, ladies and gentlemen. How about if you say this? Will you forgive me? Look at that. Will you forgive me? Or another statement that you can use is, I hope you can find it in your heart to forgive me. And or say, hey, I value our relationship and I know I hurt you and I hope you will forgive me. You get what I'm saying? So, ladies and gentlemen, what we're trying to do is give you a blueprint on how to apologize to individuals and understand your own language in apology. So that forgiveness, what do you think about that?
I know that you say that it's the easiest for you, but it's very difficult for a lot of people because it puts them in a vulnerable state. That I am depending on someone else to relinquish me or to relieve me of my wrongdoing or to, I am at someone else's mercy. And a lot of people are not okay with that. So it's hard for them to ask. They rather just apologize than ask for forgiveness. And then we also hear that term all the time. It's better to ask for forgiveness and permission. But people, even when they do that, they don't go back and ask for permission. I mean, for forgiveness. They're like, well, I just did it because, whatever. Well, I'm sorry, my bad, sorry, not sorry. But that forgiveness piece is because you are giving that power over to someone else. Right. To say yay or nay. And then the other thing is that people are not ready for, I don't forgive you. Right. And I've said that too. And it's my right, because some people I feel like did not sincerely apologize to me because their behavior didn't change. I didn't feel it in their tone, or their actions. And so I'm like, no, I don't forgive you because I don't feel like it's sincere. And so that too puts you at a very vulnerable state because it's almost like someone is rejecting you. And we don't like to feel rejected.
Well, yeah, you're absolutely right. Some people don't. And I say the reason why it's easy for me is because I had to get to the place, and we all have to find our own spaces. So I had to get to the place where if I'm cognizant of what I did and I see that a person is hurting, hey, I need to know, do you forgive me? Because that was not my intent.
You're mature.
Say what now?
You're mature.
Right. But right. So that's what I'm saying. That's why it's easy for me. But individuals are on their different their levels. But again, it took me time to get there because I know that's what I like and what I like to receive. But I am aware of what I do, and I don't like excuses. So if I don't like excuses from other people, I'd be damned if I make excuses for myself. So I need to put myself aside and say, wait a minute, I did something unintentionally. Yes. And this person hurt. So I need to make sure I go to them and say, hey, look, do you forgive me? And then the flip side of it, if they bring it to my attention, am I willing to say, yo, are we good? Because I didn't mean to do that. You know what I'm saying? Are we good? And ladies and gentlemen, when I gave that script as far as things to say, find your own language of communicating forgiveness. Okay, find your own language. Like me, I can talk to my boys and say, yo, we straight, man, because I didn't mean to do that. Oh, and then that's when that opens up the conversation. It could have been something misconstrued, a miscommunication, if you will. You get what I'm saying? Like, okay, well, look, I just didn't want you to think that because that wasn't my intent. You get what I'm saying? So, but we have to be able to open up that dialogue to do that.
And it's for asking forgiveness again. People don't like to admit that they're wrong, but the power in asking for forgiveness is, amazing. It relieves you of the guilt and the shame of that act. And it also allows that person to relinquish the anger or the hurt that they're feeling. And you guys can come together and find a workable solution for you guys so that you don't have that same infraction again. It's a hard thing to do, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. If you're sincere, just don't be, oh, forgive me for this, forgive me for this, forgive me for this, forgive me. Then it loses its power. It loses its effectiveness. It loses, especially when you just use it, tossing out like this and like, you get one, you get one, you go, and everybody gets one, But when you really, really have a spirit of forgiveness, and you translate that into a way, all the things that you said, a way that your partner can understand that. And like I said, for me, physical touch is everything. And I go back to instances where I can actually remember it was, I'm sorry, you know what I mean? Will you forgive me? And that was that hug where I felt the connection that says, I truly am sorry for hurting you. You know what I mean? And I'm really asking for your forgiveness. And I'm not going to do that again. I didn't know that it would hurt you so much. And I apologize. And I'm like, you know what? Absolutely. But then I think, well, why don't you just forgive me then? Will you forgive me? Because, I ain't mean to do it anyway. It just kind of happened. Then that's the one I'm like,
and yes, and there's individuals out there, to what you were saying earlier, they are afraid of that because it's almost like, being vulnerable. So they don't want to open it all up. They just want to unbutton a couple of buttons.
Yeah.
See, now look, you forgive me already because look, I'm ready to move on from this. Wait, no, chill out. So look, the reason why
sit in it for a minute.
yeah, it's almost like that Usher, let it burn. I want you to feel this because I've been feeling this.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? And it takes both of us to get it right. So, ladies and gentlemen, I want you guys to think about something. When an individual say that they are sorry, okay, based off of where it's coming from would determine the validity in it. So, for example, if they're just saying it just to say it and you hear it, it's just it's just body to body. Right? Meaning, as far as the senses, you can hear it. And if they're in front of you, you can see them saying it, right? So you can hear them and say, right. But now taking it a step further to like what you were saying, when you feel it, when it's speaking to your spirit, that means that person truly feels regret, or they truly want to mend the relationship because it's coming from their spirit to yours. Absolutely. You see what I'm saying? But also, and I will always bring this back to you as the receiver, you have to be willing to have your spirit open to receive it. You see? So don't half-ass listen to it because you're not ready. You see what I'm saying? Now, you see, because listen, we do that. Keep in mind, we do that. Someone could have done us wrong and we hold on to it, say, nope, I ain't ready. Nope, I want some more. Chill out. You see, because life is too short and this life is not guaranteed. You woke up this morning, congratulations. No one said you had to, but the fact that you're here now, take this and grow from it, but don't build more blocks and expect someone to keep on climbing. Because sooner or later, a person say, look, okay, hey, I said, I'm sorry. I asked how we can mend this. You get me? And I'm asking you how we can get this together. And I ask for your forgiveness. That's all of them. Peace. You feel me? Now that's done. Now, when do you accept it?
And that's that one, if you feel like it's sincere, and then you have to, again, evaluate yourself. You have to do some introspection. Why am I wanting this person to suffer when I know how that feels? Why is it bringing me a certain pleasure, to watch them grovel for this amount of time? What is it about me that's because me, I'm like, I don't want to argue, oh, let's not argue. Okay, I'm sorry, I was, let's just, no. Don't get mad. Just, it's not something that we need to fight over. You know what I mean? Because I don't want anybody to feel that type of pain. I don't want to feel that type of pain anymore. Yes, we have to deal with it. Yes, we need to sincerely apologize. But I'm not trying to, at this point in my life, I'm not trying to, that tension and that stuff that you feel when there's that stuff going on. I need to cut that short, and I need to get to the loving part. You know what I mean? I need to get back to where we are, because that's time wasted. And like you said, with everything going on, we don't know how long we have. We don't know what time we have. Why am I going to spend all those precious moments being mad? Or, when a person has truly tried to apologize and do all these things, behaviors change. They said all the things that they need to say, all that. Why am I still holding on to that? And sometimes we got to look at where that comes from. And typically it's not the other person. It's something in us that won't let us to release that hurt or that pain, something that won't let us forgive, won't let us, and that means that we have some work to do on ourselves to uncover the things, past traumas and hurts and things like that, so that we can get to a place where we're filled with more love and less hurt and pain. And so when somebody offends us, we can say, well, I've probably been in that situation before, and I know how it is to be on the receiving end. I'm not going to have you grovel and all this and all that, wasting precious time. Let me work on a few things for a minute. Let me get over myself. And when I say I forgive, I'm done with it. You know what I mean? I'm done with it, and I'm not going to keep busting you upside the head with it, everything. So, at the end of the day, you walk away and now I done lost a good friend, a good husband, a good, whatever. No, let's get to the loving part. And I'm not saying it's that easy, but it's a choice. And so I choose now that that's how I operate.
Yes.
I'm not going to do that anymore, like that whole long and whatever, because pain sucks.
Yes, it does. It is. It's bad. And so, like you said, you have to get to the point where you're able to move on, but move on in the realm of understanding. Like, hey, we've been through this and we made some restitution, if you will, right? We did this. Now, life is going to continue, right? Life is going to continue, and different situations may come up that may be foreign. All right, it may be uncharted territory, if you will. Keep in mind what happened before. Is it the same situation? How much have you grown from that? And did this person really put effort in making it right? You see, really making it right, because if another situation happened and then the same thing happened like you did again, so that means all of this chit chat we did, this whole come to Jesus together, we didn't cry and we didn't hugged and we didn't made some, we went to go eat, we did everything. Here it is 2 months later and we back at it again. Come on now. So you yes, give grace, but you also have to make sure you have a standard. Right?
Wisdom too.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is what we're talking about. We're talking about the apologies, but also how to arm yourself.
Yes.
You understand? Arm yourself to know who you are and what you deal with and how to deal with it. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us know, while we still have time, let us know what you've learned from today. Did you learn anything new about you? Did you learn anything about your apology language in which you need? Because we have to be able to, after taking this information, how do we create the environment to allow individuals to apologize the right way?
And sometimes we need to go back and apologize, real talk.
Mm-hmm.
When you hear this stuff and you be like, oh, no wonder why that person was so mad at me. I didn't take the time to get to know what it was. I'm just giving them, you learn a person's oftentimes language of apology by the way that they apologize.
That's right.
And if it's different than yours and you're giving them yours and you wonder why there's some rift. You might have to go back and look at that a little bit and say, okay, you know what? We had this issue back in the day. I didn't think it was that big of a deal. I know that we haven't been the same and, there's been some things, but I want you to know that maybe I learned something about apologies and maybe I didn't apologize the right way. Is there anything that I can do because this relationship, this friendship, this, work, coworker, whatever is important to me? What is it that I can do to make this right?
And that's the deal. Yes. Yeah. And now, again, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about some higher level awareness. This is higher level. It's not like, okay, you about to just walk into this and like you got it like that. You may, but think about those relationships to Camille's point. Think about those relationships that are gone and you don't know why.
Yep.
You don't know why. So, and I'm not saying to go back and, appease an individual, but if you truly learn something from the day and learn something about yourself, is that relationship worth it to mend it? And then watch this, do your part, because if you think about it, you may be holding on to something when one conversation, it may not go the way you think it's going to go, but it may release you.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
It does.
May release you like, wow, I'm so glad I just opened it up and look, they wasn't ready to receive it, but hey, I'm ready to receive myself. And part of me moving forward, I got to let go of this mess because it's holding me down. Bag lady.
Bag lady.
Hey, you back your bags. You feel part of those bags is the regret that you had for not doing what you needed to do. So don't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, don't wait.
Yep. And then also you have to, when you do that, you have to be prepared for that person to not accept your apology.
Exactly.
But it's not about, at that point, you've done your part. you know, and you can release the guilt of it. You can release the heaviness of it. You can release the shame of it because you went back and you tried to repair or, you know, pay restitution or whatever it was to that person. Now it's up to them to accept it or reject it. And either way, you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with but you got to be, don't be, well, I try to apologize and holler. No, because it may have been years and, you know, what you did or offended them have festered for years and they still dealing with that. You know, give them time. Like you said, give them time, let them, and they may or may not come back to you. And that's okay. But you did the right thing by going back and trying to make that right and repairing that relationship. But I want to say this. We have a few more minutes before we have this nice announcement that we're going to make. But if you guys want to call in and share, I see some good comments in the, you know, in the comment section and things like that. So if you guys want to call in real quick, give us an example of something maybe that happened to you, how it turned out, maybe something that you learned, you know, we'd love to hear from you. You know, this is about learning for all of us. Everybody's perspective is important because it gives us different tools to use to try, especially when it comes to people. There's no one size fits all. There's no one formula that's going to fit for every person. And so all of these experiences really help us to grow as a community, you know, as a community. So, but yeah, some great stuff I'm reading in these comments and everything. And I hope that everybody goes back, and there are probably some things that you can do to mend some relationships, even in your family units. Yeah, absolutely. And we got to apologize to our kids sometimes. And I have to learn to do that as well. I haven't done it all right. And sometimes, like, baby, I'm sorry. You know, I mean that.
And I'm glad that you said that, because there's individuals in our lives, and I'm sure we know of them. There's individuals in our lives that's holding on to something because they never receive the apology from a loved one. And then so since they did not receive that apology from the loved one, now one moment. So because they never received that apology from the loved one, and that loved one is now passed, now they have children. You see what I'm saying? They have children now, and now their children are receiving the brunt end of that just because you didn't receive what you need. You need to be able to let your child know, hey, baby, I'm going through something, and what I'm going through is not your fault.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's not your fault. But this is your mom. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing very well. I got a good one for you. And that you may relate to this one. I'm the president of a super neighborhood, 43,000 people. And so I was in a meeting last Saturday with my youngest daughter. And so anyway, I was facilitating the meeting, had a little bump in the road. And I flexed my muscles. Kiana said that my testosterone was a little too high in dealing with my vice president. And so she helped me to see, you know, because sometimes I don't see it. Yeah, I just think I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Right. But she called me out on, she said, Mommy, you need to call him back. She said, because I saw the look on his face. I didn't see it. I was just reacting. Yeah. And so I did. I made the apology. I went back to him and made the apology, and he said, you know, Jackie, it's all good, it's okay. But I also know by just the way he said, it's all good and it's okay, that I know that I have to change my behavior when I deal with him. There you go. So anyway, so when I told her I did it, she said, Mom, I'm so proud of you. So I'm glad, you know, sometimes we need other people in our lives to help us see those areas and be open to it and to be able to make the correct type of apology. But the apology language really helped me, because I realized that even with that apology, I don't think I hit the mark on it. So I am going to change my language the next time he and I are in a meeting together. So thank you, Sanity Chat.
No, thank you. Thank you for calling.
And that's important too. I do that at work a lot of times, especially, you know, in the military with senior leaders or supervisors and stuff like that. They'll say stuff and be so harsh to people, and I go up to them, I'm like, you owe them an apology. Like, you owe them an apology. That was not okay. The way they, well, I got, there's no excuse for that. No excuse. You just completely deflated that person, embarrassed them, you know, did all the, and for what? Why would you talk to somebody like that? Yes. So I often pull people to the side and help them to see. And then I also hope that other people do too. But what I know when people say that about me, because they know that I genuinely, I'm really choosy and I try to really read the person, they'll go, Sergeant Thomas. I said, yes. They were like, are you okay today? And I'm like, huh? They were like, are you okay? You were a little snappy. So I'm like, oh, okay. And I will go back to that person and say, I do have a lot of things going on. And if I snapped at you or if you felt some type of way, please let me know so that I can apologize. It wasn't directed at you. And oftentimes they go, it's okay. And I'm like, no, it's not okay. I need to make sure that you know that it was not about you. It was about me. And I apologize. And so that has kept a lot of relationships that it takes other people sometimes to point it out to us.
Yes, it does. We got another caller. Good morning. How are you?
Hey, good morning. Hey, good morning, Seth and Camille. This is Rosie.
Hey, how are you? Go ahead.
I'm good. I'm really loving this question today because I've never heard of the book, but I've read the 5 Love Languages before, but not the 5 Apologies. But I'm definitely getting the book. But I've been trying to do this with my dad and not even knowing that's what I was trying to do with him, right? To have him apologize the way I would want to receive it. But he would not understand, like, in this whole building our relationship and, like moving on as a family, I keep telling him, this is what we need to say. But he would not say it. But yet so he wants, for us to forgive him and to mend the relationship and everything. And I'm like, you're just not saying it the way that we want you to. So, I mean, I just had to move on. But I mean, I do forgive him for what happened in the past. It's just that he would not understand what we're looking for as far as an apology from him.
Yes.
So,
yes, absolutely.
Yeah, this is a good topic.
No, thank you for calling in. And you know what, you're absolutely right. And that happens because, listen, everyone, we are dealing in our own universe, and sometimes we are just orbiting around someone else's universe. So we cannot expect them to be on our page, especially when we are giving them everything they could use. And if they refuse to use it, it's not their fault. Now the burden is on you. How long do you keep trying to give them tools? But now this is the deal. Realize when they're saying things at their level, if that makes sense. If they're saying it at their level, you don't have to demonize them, if you will, to say, well, look, this is how I know that you are sorry to me. So that's what it is. At the end of the day, it's your father. No one knows how the world is going to change. I had to do the same thing with my mother. And she has done the same thing, even though she passed, but she had to do the same thing with her mother. So we have to realize where people are, love them where they are, give them the ammunition to come up. But if they refuse to come up, that is not your responsibility.
Yes, and Rosie, I was also going to say too, now that you've, seen or heard this information, can you look back to your father and what you say and see how he has apologized or see what his language of apology is? Maybe it wasn't in a way that you can accept it or feel it at the time, but now that you're aware of the different types of apologies, can you look back and say, my dad did apologize and he was really sincere. I just didn't know the way he expressed it. It didn't resonate with me because I didn't understand that there are different ways to apologize.
Yeah. Can you see that now, Rosie?
Yeah. You said you forgive him, but can you see
Definitely.
that?
Huh?
Definitely. I mean, can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, definitely. I can see that, like, I think you guys mentioned it. Sometimes we want people to see it the way we feel it or want them to see it our way and do it exactly like that, but they communicate differently. And so maybe I was blinded to my way and want him to do exactly the way I felt like it, I needed to do it or receive it. Right. But definitely, I sensed that he was trying to apologize. It was, like, you're not saying it the way I want you to say it, okay? This is definitely helpful.
Well,
definitely helpful.
I'm glad it did. But thank you for calling. Thank you for calling. So we got time for one more. We got time for one more. I know someone wanted to call in, right? Here's the number. So the number is 618-792-6747. And something else I wanted to say too, real quick, about what your mother said. We have to make sure we have trusted individuals in our circle. We have to, because those individuals are able to see our blind spots. So we have to be willing to hear those blind spots. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi, Seth.
Hey, how you doing?
Well, thank you. This is Ardrina.
All right. So what you got?
So, with the question of having to apologize or knowing when or having apologized in the past, I was dating someone and I was becoming a stickler on boundaries, on making sure that others respected my boundaries. So, no becoming a statement. Well, I'm getting to know this person, and we end up having, I guess, a challenging conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And their response was something that I found myself I did not like. And so I'm steady, like, well, trying to get another response out of them to where it's like, they're like, finally to where he was like, I've already said what I had to say. I'm done with this conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how it ended. And the next day I end up, or when next time we talked, maybe like 2 days, I found myself, apologizing to him. And really what it was that how can I tell someone to respect my boundaries, yet I'm trying to sit here and go against your boundaries. And so that was something that it really helped our friendship, our relationship. And I felt good about it, because it was just like, you can't request something or tell the universe or even people that I want this, but you're doing the complete opposite.
Hey, you see what I'm saying? That is a awareness. So congratulations.
Moment.
Yes, but that's what it takes. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you want something, ask yourself, am I preventing what I want? Because sometimes you got the keys, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But no, that's dope. That's dope. What you were going to say to her point, Camille?
No, I would just say it is. And then, if you were on the other shoe, and you were doing the same as him, would you react the same way? I said, that's a different level of growth and maturity, seeing that other person's side too. And then also looking at me and going, okay, this is what I asked for. This is what I want. Am I getting in my own way? Am I getting in my own way? And is it really worth this relationship? Or is this something that we can both work on, talk about and both work on, and then move forward from here? So that's one of those aha moments, and so yes. I love those moments too. I have them too sometimes. And I'm like, so
right.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you.
All right. But yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, as we get ready to close this up, I do want to say thank you all for being on, and stick around too, because we have a great announcement. But again, think about what you may have learned this morning and your apology languages, and just giving a quick rehash of what we talked about: expressing regret, making restitution, accepting responsibility, genuinely repenting, and requesting forgiveness. All right. So ask yourself, take the time, take the quiz, find out where you are, and then think about what type of relationships that are still floating in the air that you can bring down to mend if it's necessary and you're worth it. All right. But I do want to thank you all for being on. But to you, Camille.
All right. So I was going to say, and if you ain't sure, hit them all. I'm sorry. It's my fault. How can I change? Or I'm sorry, how can I make it right? How can I change? And will you forgive me? So that's an easy little, thing to remember. Hit them all, you're sure to get one. You know what I mean? But anyway, so thank you, Lashana. But we have a special announcement today. So as you guys know, Seth and I do a lot of training outside of Sanity Check. So we put together a webinar. We are doing a webinar during this time. A lot of people are very stressed out. It's a lot going on in the world. It's a lot going on in our families, in our work centers, having to adjust with school, virtual schools, and, teleworking from home. So we are launching a Coping with COVID-19 webinar. Okay. And so it is scheduled for November 20th. At noon today, you guys will, if you come back to the Sanity Check page, you will see a flyer out there with a registration. And unfortunately, I know it's a lot of people on here, but we have spots for only 30 people. at a very, very special price for you guys. And so if you want to, again, 12 o'clock today,
that's Eastern, right?
That's Eastern time, 12 o'clock Eastern. You should see a flyer pop up and there is a registration button on there. Again, the first 30 people. And when I say it's at a very special price, it is at a very, very special price just for you guys, because we really want to help people to get through this. I know that we do sanity check every week, and we try to give people tools, and you build resilience in them, build resilient minds so that we can handle some of life's issues. But this one really is a more pointed webinar. It's going to be an hour and a half as well. November 20th, starting at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So as soon as that thing comes on at 12 o'clock, I would suggest that you guys register, get on in there because only 30 people can attend. Absolutely. So this is our gift to you guys. And I hope that you guys will register and come on in.
Right. So I want to say, listen, too, ladies and gentlemen, want to make sure that you understand the type of mode that it would be, because it's only 30 individuals. It won't be live. All right. It won't be live. We're going to be going via Zoom. So it's going to be closed, intimate, but now we're going to be able to have true dialogue. You understand? A true dialogue. And listen, coping through this COVID is crazy right now, but we want to give you those tools that you can take for yourself and that you can implement throughout your life, and then that you can teach others, because it's very, very important. So make sure you register. Make sure you do. It's going to be a very, very good time. I guarantee that.
Guarantee.
Yes. So, but ladies and gentlemen, that is our time. We love you. Make sure you share this. This was some good stuff. Okay. Real good stuff. And get out your feelings. All right. Because listen, if you ain't said you sorry yet and you need to, let it happen. You understand? Before life, take it away and take that opportunity away from you, because it does happen. But until then, we talk to you soon, and we will see y'all next week.
Yeah.
All right.